we are, Jimmy. Lucky number 12.
The end.
Wow. You've done a remarkable job so far.
Well, you've helped out so much with this. I mean, this is. I still am impressed with the decking and all that we did with the stitching and.
You did a great job. Are you ready to start the outsides?
Yes.
All right. Let's
the
turn
end
the chair.
of the end of the end.
Let's turn the chair this way. And folks, all of Jimmy's outsides are paneled. Okay. So most outsides, they're upholstered up to the other upholstery on the inside arm. You have to blind tack it. You have to do a little bit more, and then the fabric's tacked underneath. Yours is paneled.
Okay.
So just like the inside arms, you're going to be able to finish off the arm relatively easy. Mm-hmm. However, to prep it is what you're going to do now, and you have that piece of stretcher fabric. This is called, and it's called stretcher for a reason. You want to stretch it over the open hole, and you're going to try to be on the inside of the wood here with your pin tacks first, Jimmy. What I want you to do is fold the fabric over like so, and pin tack it. Try to keep that tack line, you guys. See that tack line? Jimmy's got to try to keep that tack line for his fabric open.
Okay.
So the right there, the hammer and your 6-ounce tacks, Jimmy. You want to get this tacked about every 2 inches, okay?
Yeah.
They're right over here, Jimmy. Right here. So do that first, every 2 inches across here, and then I want you to call me when you're ready to do the bottom, okay?
Okay.
So there you go, they're off and running.
All right, Kevin. I think I'm almost ready.
Let me just take a look at that, Jimmy. So you're tempted to fold that, right, and to tack it. However, it is a stretcher, so we start with a nice clean line here for your benefit. But the rest of it has to be stretched. So you can either, if you guys are getting a little bit better at the staple gun like Jimmy is, Jimmy can staple this. He can go right to stapling if he's confident. If not, you can pin tack.
I got my license yesterday.
All right, that's good. Did you get for the long nose staple gun
I did
or
my
the snub nose?
The long nose.
All right. And
Yeah, not like the Harry Callahan.
Okay. I think the world would be a better place with just staple guns, Jimmy.
Well,
You
let's.
know what I mean? I think it would be a better place. I think we get people working on chairs like this and furniture with their staple guns. Well, that's another story.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
that's for when we take over the world. Everybody's got to pass life. You have to do at least 3 projects. One's going to be a chair.
So now that you have that, to help you out a little bit, you can trim this just a little bit so you can see what you're doing. Right?
Okay.
And you can start in the middle. You can line your gun up. Now the object here is you don't want to be on your finished wood. You want to try to be at least halfway on that wood, on the tack line. Right? So you can stretch it and tack it. I'm just standing off to the side for the camera benefit. Stretch it. It's a stretcher, right? So you have to stretch it, staple, stretch, and staple. So if you were using tacks, like if people at home are still using tacks, they can put it down, pin tack it, and then go back and staple it in between.
Right.
So if you feel confident doing that, go ahead.
Oh yeah,
and do
let me
that.
give it a shot.
So go all the way over here, and then go down one side, and then use the other side to stretch with.
Okay.
So you should get that almost like a trampoline.
Now tell me something. Why aren't we using, even though it's a small area, webbing
Oh, that's too thick.
too thick?
That's a good question. Wrong application. So Jimmy's asking. It's a good question. That's what I like about these students. They ask a good question. So webbing is only used for really seating and inside back, on the inside of the chair, on the
Okay.
inside back, for instance. But for outsides, it's too much and it's too thick. So if you use this here, it would all be bumpy and it's a little overkill.
Okay.
The stretcher's more than adequate. A lot of companies, manufacturers, don't even do this.
Yeah.
They just cover over the hole with the good fabric, and that's it.
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
So we're doing a good job. So do that, Jimmy, and I'll check your work. I won't be too critical. Don't worry.
Oh God, thank you.
How you
So-
doing, Jimmy? So you got this stretched and good. You're away from the finish edge. This has to be trimmed really close when you're
Oh, yeah.
ready. And you got this done, this done. Let me just see. Now you can staple in between here.
Yeah.
Remove all of these tacks,
Mhm.
and then trim this right to the staple as close as you can, okay?
Yeah, pretty good, huh?
Yep, not bad. So I'm just gonna help you just trim this just a little bit more, Jimmy. Sometimes the way to trim, right? You hold a, if you learn this as a tool, you can hold the fabric as you're trimming. It's usually better if there's more fabric, but
Yeah, I didn't leave it too much on the end there.
because you don't want it to go over the wood. It's gonna make your job harder, just a little bit here too, when you go to put your fabric on. Good. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're running out of tack line there, aren't we?
We are. We have to use other guides,
So-
our imagination. If
Well, I
we-
might get a couple of staples for you, just because I don't want this to peek through. And I'm only gonna put it on the top, just because, I am just gonna get this stapled up like that into the underneath part almost, like
Ah,
that.
okay.
Just to hold it. Okay,
Okay.
so this is just a half a layer. It can be either cotton or dacron, and you can trim it. Sometimes if you shorten up or if you split the dacron in half, like I did on this,
Okay.
you can actually trim it. It's all you need. It's all you
So
need.
you don't have to really staple both ends?
No,
Okay.
and you don't need a lot. It's just a buffer. On outside should be kept as streamlined as tight as possible.
Right, because it's
That
more,
makes
more of
sense.
the inside where you're gonna be sitting.
Yeah, anytime I
comfort.
see people try to overstuff outsides, it looks awful. It doesn't look good. You want to keep the outside sleek,
Okay.
because the chair is sleek.
Right.
You know, most furniture is the same thing. Almost all furniture should be like that. So what I want you to do now, with the fabric, give your outside arm all ready to go. That's okay. We'll send the bill for that gun in the mail,
That'll be
Jimmy.
$300.
Yeah, it's number, 205 Broadway in Arlington. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
just buy us a new one on our site. You know?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, hey, I got my tax money coming back, people.
We're still waiting for you to buy that clincher.
So what you're gonna do
Oh, the
is-
clinch it, I want that. I know it seems kind of crazy, Patrick.
That's BroadwayUpholsteryschool.com for all you people who want to know.
There we go.
Yeah, why don't you put your plug in too? I mean, you know.
Actually, it would be better if I jump into the camera like that. But anyway. So
Wow, that's pretty good, Kevin.
Was that good?
Hey,
Did
is
you
that-
see the athleticism there?
Yeah, I'll call and tell your wife. Say, yeah, Kevin's pretty athletic after all. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't know how to do anything.
So what you want to do is you do the same thing as you did your stretcher. You're going to fold this and pin tab it to start, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do that across every 2 inches, and then I'll catch up with you, okay?
All right.
Don't go to the other thing until I come by. all right?
Okay, if you say so, Doc.
want you to do now, Jimmy, is like we did, I'm gonna try to panel this whole thing by folding it under, and it's called paneling when you can fold all the sides,
Under.
right? Yeah, and so what that means is that you don't have to trim it, and trimming can sometimes be a problem, especially when you go to trim it with the trim or the tacks,
Right.
and then you have like frayed edges. So when you can, you guys, when you have something that doesn't have a lot of padding, it's the only time you can do it. And this is the case. So I'm going to do some trimming for you. I'm going to be brave enough to trim down.
Brave enough.
Normally what I would want you to do is just trim the bottom first and then do the sides. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to trim this back about, so that Jimmy only has to fold about maybe 3/4 of an inch. What I want Jimmy to do, I'm going to move over to where you are, Jimmy.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask Jimmy to fold this up. Look at this, Jimmy. Fold this up. You have to be right along your nice finished edge here, right?
Yeah.
And go up a little bit above the fold and then stretch it down. So I'm about 1/4 of an inch showing, and then when I stretch it, I'm even. So that gives you enough stretch. So get one pin tack, and then come all the way down here. Do the same thing. See how I have this angled up? You guys can see this. And then stretch down. Okay, you get the proper stretch
Do
of
the
your
middle
arm.
and the ends.
And then you're going to do the middle and the ends, and then you're going to go in between and get pin tacks. And then I'm going to ask you to do this at the ends. Okay? While I'm here, I'm just going to trim this for you too, right? Right down here. Normally I'd want people to attach this first, but since I'm down here, I might as well do it for you. You're all set.
Wow.
All right?
Okay, thanks.
That's your task. And if you get that pin tack properly, you could just staple right along. That's the fun part, right? See if you've got you got the back piece too to do, right, Jimmy?
You mean there's more?
Yeah, you need to pin tack this down.
Oh, okay. My
Right.
mistake.
So you need to fold this
I
and get that lined up. Okay, and pin tack
Come on.
that down. Right?
I'm
Let me
getting
just
ahead of
point. Let me
myself.
just point something out here. Jimmy has a very thin fabric, right? So he's very lucky. But sometimes you have to trim down your corners. I'm just going to trim down one corner. If you guys are working a heavier fabric, you have to trim your corners down just a little bit more. So when you carry your pin tack all the way to the edge, Jimmy,
Too much?
I just took that one out and I folded it. Look how nice that transition is. You see that?
Yeah.
It's very important because for your trim, to have
Okay.
nice transitions, have it as neat as possible. That's why we're doing this, okay? And then you're gonna go all the way up. So it's the point I want to make is I don't think you have to trim yours because your fabric really works well as a.
Yeah, there's not
yeah.
an awful lot of fabric into it. I mean, there's
Right.
not multi-patterns and it's not too hard to
Well,
work
it's
with.
it's the thickness of the fabric that works too.
Oh, yes.
Works very well. Okay, so finish that up about every 2 inches with your pin tag,
Do
and then
this
do the
side.
front. Okay. So I want to stop Jimmy here before he gets to the other side. I want to show him. For you guys who are at home and you're getting good with your staple gun, you know, you can eliminate some steps as you go. That's so for all you who are interested in speeding up, for instance, and you're getting into journeyman or you're getting like Jimmy. Jimmy's getting to a point where he's actually taken on work, so he needs to find some places where he can speed up a little bit, but also do a good job. This is one of them. Instead of pin tacking over here, if Jimmy was confident enough, he could have stapled up here, stretched this, folded this, stretched this, and stapled it, and then so on, instead of doing any pin tacking. But don't forget, the pin tacking I still use. It's a great tool if you're not sure of yourself, because it's a lot harder to take a staple out that's put in with 90 pounds of pressure, right, into a mahogany wood frame than it is to take out a tack, a pin tack especially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the middle here, and I'm going to fold this, and I give it a little stretch this way, and I'm going to get it stapled. And then I'm going to, I see at the same time, I'm going to tuck in a little bit of the stretcher that's peeking through. Did you see what I did there, Jimmy? And that's fine, this piece is fine. I'm going to take this last tack out, and then I'm going to fold this to corner this out a little bit. That's called cornering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice corner there. And then finish that up. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to come up top here, and I'm going to have you staple the rest of this, okay? There you go, Jimmy. You can staple the rest of that, take your pin tacks out, and then we're ready for the next step.
There's another step?
Yeah. All right, Jimmy, let me sit down. I want to show people. I'm going to show people how to, on the GIMP, and pay attention, because you're going to be doing the same thing on the rest of the chair, right?
Oh, sure.
All right?
Yes.
So the first thing I'm going to do is grab your side cutters there. I'm going to take these pin tacks out. So, at one time you did this, you commented, I think, on the last class, when you're using tacks with the GIMP. And the reason you do that is because you need a background on the tack. And the reason we need the background is the GIMP on the decorative nail. The reason we need that is because we don't always have the benefit of a nice clean edge like this, right?
Right.
On the front and the back, they're trimmed edges. So that makes a big difference behind the tack. If you don't use this, you'll see that behind the tack.
Okay.
So we're all about really, this is finish upholstery. This is really a high-end upholstery, right, Jeremy?
This job is, yeah.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we do a high-end job. So what I'm going to do, so you could get by with tack in this,
Okay.
but the other parts of the chair don't have that, so you have to use this here too.
Right.
So, but this is how you're going to do it. So there's two ways. Some people glue this on, and I think we did that one time with you.
I liked it that way.
Yeah, if you like it that way, do it that way. But I'm going to show you another way of doing it, so
Okay.
I'll leave it up to you.
Okay.
When you're at home, it might be better with the glue gun.
Yeah.
But what you can do, you can pin tack this on, start at a corner. I'm going to start with the fold of the GIMP, like this. I'm going to start at a corner. You can either pin tack that or pin staple. Now, that's only if you're advanced and you're confident with the gun. Watch what I do now. We're going to pin staple. This is a new technique. You put the gun in, make sure you plant the head, but tilt the head of the gun.
So it still sticks
So the
up.
staple sticks out, so you're able to grab hold of it. Now, you don't want to staple this all the way, because I could assure you that you will see a staple in between your tack work. So you're going to be taking these out as you go. Okay, you're going to be tacking along here and take those pin staples out as you go.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to frame this because I also want to show. Let's see if people can see this. Is this on camera, you guys? Right at this corner. I'm interested in getting this corner on camera to make sure. I'm going to put a pin staple here. And then this stuff is so flexible, you guys. You don't have to miter this. In the old days, we used to miter it because the gimp wasn't as flexible. But you just go right along here, Jimmy. You know, it's folded just a little bit. Right now, people are going to be able to see this better up here. Watch this. Okay, we're going to go right along here. We're going to do a good job lining it up so that when you put your tacks in, you know, I'm even going to get an extra in there just to make sure. Look at that, right? And I just want, now I want to get to the corner here to show people just up here. Just put your thumb and kind of spread it out, right? Push it in and then continue. How about that? Now look how nice and straight that top is there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And they come down like this. And then I'm going to cut this. You guys watch this. I'm going to cut this about an inch below, and then I'm going to fold that, and it meets right up here like that. Now you're ready for your tacks. What I want you to do, Jimmy, you're a lefty, so as a right-handed person, I like to work from the right to the left. I'm sure that you like to work left to right. Is that right?
Either way, I'm good.
All right, let's do it this way then. I'm going to start. I'll do it my. If you're good either way, I'll start on my end here. What I want to show. Actually, you know what? Let's start up here to show people that you get a good picture of this, Michaela, right up the top here. I'm going to start right at the corner, right like here. Tap, tap.
Wow, that's pretty good.
So Jimmy, are you going to be doing every other tack, or
I think it's like two.
every two tacks?
Yeah, every two.
You're going to have to get used to the spacing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty much the first one kind of sets the tone. So I set the tone, right?
Of course you did.
That. So I'm going to put another one in, and then I'm going to ask you to get a couple over here. If you want to measure these, you can. It's probably more like, I recommend, a tack and a half. 2 tacks is a little bit too much, so it's about a tack and a half. So, another important thing really is you need to be sitting down on this. A higher chair might be good when you're up
I'd
in this
rather be
area.
like eye level with it.
Yeah, but we don't have you set up for a higher chair right now. So just try to get a couple of more tacks in here,
Okay.
and then I'll catch up with you in a minute, okay?
You all right, Professor?
I just want to, okay, we're just going to stop Jimmy right here, and I want to sit down, just critique you just a little bit, okay?
What?
For you, I think I'm going to give you a tool. You can either use a piece of cardboard tack tape or actual tape measure, but you need to get better at your spacing, because I'm going to give you a big homework assignment after this, right? So we're just going to look, so we can correct, see how you're a little close here? See on that one? Sometimes you can correct it, but you can't correct that without removing a tack, okay? So, you know, don't be afraid of mistakes like that. Try not to ruin the gimp. That would be a bad thing. So I'm going to adjust this tack over in the middle a little bit, right? Look at that. Doesn't that look better, Jimmy?
Yep.
Okay, you see how this tack, and I'm not picking on your work. You're just going to have to get used to this. You're a little close here. That can be adjusted by, look at that. Perfect, right? And that one, this one can be adjusted over just a little bit.
Ah.
Do you see the better spacing there?
Okay.
You see that? And you can, as you want to take a piece of tack tape. Now the reason that sometimes, don't be, fooled by this. I make it look easy because I've been doing it so long. But the problem is you have a dome and you have the stem in the middle of the dome, so you have to kind of account for that. So a lot of times people are used to regular tacks and they're lining tacks up, but this is a little different, right?
Right, the head's a little bigger.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you might want to take a piece of cardboard tack tape, Well, let's start with the good one right here and cut this like that. You can use that as a tool, you know. This one here, you're a little spaced out a little bit. Let's just move it over. We can move that over a little bit, and then maybe tweak this one just a little bit. So you do have some flexibility in there.
Okay.
So you can use this as a tool moving forward. But now, I want to stop you right there, and I'm going to give Jimmy a huge homework assignment. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to finish this next week. It's okay if you don't. But what Jimmy's going to do, he's going to finish this panel, right, with the tacks. Jimmy's going to find time at home in front of the in front of the TV maybe, and just to relax. I usually find
Yes,
quick
I'll
tacks
put
in.
Those YouTube videos of, I think, Upholstery on
That's right,
Broadway.
Upholstery. No, Broadway Upholstery. Fool.
Oh, that's my show.
Jimmy's going to take a half a layer and he's going to put this on. You're going to panel this just like you did your outside back, just like you did your arm.
Right.
You're going to do the same thing on this arm. Okay, you're all set. The stretch is already in place for you. And then Jimmy has to put nails in the entire chair. So you've got to take that whole box of nails home.
Oh,
And
boy.
when he comes back, he's going to have this whole thing nailed up. Okay, so the other thing I want to tell you, Jimmy, I got a surprise for you.
Not another surprise.
Well, it's a good surprise. We're going to have Bernice, who's also on our online classes at Broadway
Oh.
Upholstery School. She's going to come in,
She's the bomb.
and she's going to show how to sew this cushion. It's a down cushion. It's a little different. So
Really?
she's going to come in and do your cushion.
Wow.
How's that?
Yeah, that's great.
So I think for in studio, Jimmy, you're finished with me.
Thank God.
At least for this chair.
Get rid of you.
We'll be waiting.
Oh,
So it's been unbelievable, Jimmy. I mean, I think
12 classes?
12
Oh.
classes, about an hour and a
I-
half each class. So what are we talking about? 20 to 25 hours of work, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I wouldn't even count the time stripping this down because it was relatively very easy to do.
Right.
Probably an hour and a half.
But you
tops.
do have to count, if you're doing it professionally, you do have to count the
Oh,
time
yeah.
it takes to strip a chair. So Jimmy is on his way to actually becoming a journeyman or late journeyman because he's been doing it so long, and he's actually doing work for people now. So that, I think that's wonderful, Jimmy.
I think it's nice, yeah.
So next time we see you, this is gonna be all done.
Yep, I know where I'll be on Saturday and maybe Sunday morning.
And thank you for doing the online classes.
Oh, no problem at
We'll-
all. I
we'll-
enjoy this.
We'll see you next time.
Take care.